Focus, discipline, and thoroughness are three sometimes overlooked or perhaps even often overlooked values that are core to high achievement. They are core, in my experience, to achieving greatness and really any kind of achievement of any goals, anything that you deem to be valuable, anything that's going to be of significance, and certainly to generating more abundance, prosperity, and freedom in life. And what I had to learn from my own experience is how important these things are and how to apply them. So what I want to do in this brief video is just share with you a few ideas about that, just to uh, whet your appetite, just to get you considering them and maybe see how this may be showing up in your own life, right? Everybody's a little bit different. There's probably people out there who are more focused. Let me rephrase that. There are definitely people out there who are more focused, more disciplined, and more thorough than I am. However, I still take these things very seriously, and I really make a best effort to apply them in my life. So also, welcome. And if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, it's great to have you here. Really appreciate you stopping by. I'm David Greenberg. I am the founder and managing director of the Freedom Studio. We're a private education organization, and we're focusing on helping our members be great. Our core curriculum consists of natural law, equity, and private trusts. And we have other curriculum as well, but these are the core principles that we focus on. So yeah, if that resonates with you or even intrigues you a little bit, you may want to stick around. So let's talk about these three principles: focus, discipline, and thoroughness. I think that's the right order. So let's talk about focus. One of the challenges that I used to have, and I see a lot of people having, both in terms of correspondence in our own network, but just in general, and especially when I talk to people on private one-on-one consultations, is many of them, I won't necessarily say all or most, but many folks are just all over the map. Very unfocused, very diffused, kind of very susceptible to what I call what others have called shiny object syndrome. I didn't make up that term, but I vibe with that a lot because I see that happening a lot. So that's basically where you're just easily distracted. Your attention is easily drawn hither and thither. The next great thing. Oh, here's another educator who's talking about the same topic or even a related topic. Because let's face it, YouTube and other platforms are designed to keep your attention, so they're going to tend to keep feeding you similar content. And by the way, that's great. I'm not ragging on that. It's great that there are other content creators out there who are doing their thing and bringing their ideas forward. Okay, so I'm not dissing on anyone. But there's something to be said for focus. So if you set an intention, as I have, to achieve certain things, certain objectives in your life, maybe having more freedom, having more abundance, having better relationships, and unlocking maybe your life's purpose, unlocking some big project that you've been wanting to do, your own contribution to the world. Well, there's no bypassing it. There's no shortcuts. You're going to have to stay focused, right? In my experience, you're going to have to be focused. And that means your focus means that you have certain objectives in mind and you tend to align all of your efforts around that. So that could mean temporarily narrowing the focus of what you study. In other words, instead of keep acquiring new teachers or just subscribing to every time to a new channel, oh, I need to watch this content, I need to do that, I need to study this. It's better to finish what you started. So pick a topic, pick an area, and go deep. Go deeper. Go deeper than you thought you would. Go deep enough to know if this knowledge is going to serve you in your goals. And if you determine at some point that it's not, hey, that's no problem. You can pivot, you can move in another direction. But if you're getting value, if you're learning, then you might as well stick with it, stay focused on that until you can put it into, put it into practice, or convert it, transform it into something valuable for you and for your goals. So that's what focus is about. Focus is about avoiding always jumping around from content to content, from teacher to teacher, from platform to platform, constantly trying to look for the next best thing, because of some underlying fear or uncertainty or lack of confidence that you've found something of value already, and you may as well go deeper into that. Okay, part of it is also the way society is structured is people are very designed to be to be distracted very easily. So people tend to not guard their energy enough and their attention. Again, attention is very important. Attention, paying attention. So think about so-called doom scrolling, again, endless content, endless entertainment, even endless education, which is almost certainly better than endless entertainment in some regards, but it still has a downside. Okay, so if you're not willing or able to focus on something, how are you going to ever extract the full value of whatever it is you're learning? Because something of value, especially the topics that we teach, again, natural law, equity, and private trust. I mean, any one of those three, you can go really deep. You can go deeper than I've gone. I certainly don't have all the answers. I never profess to. But I've gone deep enough to know that it's worth going deeper and it's worth focusing on. Okay? I've also tended to work with very few educators at a time and not bounce around. And it's not that I don't even think some of those other platforms of educators out there don't have value. It's just, how is it going to serve me if I don't stay focused? So I'm just telling you from firsthand experience and also what I'm seeing and hearing in network, you got to be focused. Okay, so that's the first one. So maybe a homework assignment or an exercise is to map out your specific goals and then figure out what are the 2, 3, 4 topics that you need to really focus in on to make that happen. Okay, so that's focus. Now let's talk about discipline. Let's talk about discipline. What does it mean, discipline? Again, this is not necessarily a from the dictionary definition, but basically discipline is the ability to sustain your efforts in order to realize an outcome, in order to see an activity through all the way, and also to not be knocked off your square, or be knocked off balance as you're performing that activity, right? Almost anything of value in life is going to take a sustained effort to achieve. And just like focus is important, discipline is going to be very important. And I'll tell you what, as someone who has struggled with health challenges, not just financial challenges, not just relationship challenges. Yes, I've had all of them, folks. I've had all of them and continue to have challenges. But let's talk about health, because that's very close to my heart, because I've really had some struggles with health recently over the last couple of years. And one of the most important things I learned is if I wanted to heal, if I wanted to realize better health and to improve, I needed to have the discipline. I needed to have the discipline to stick with it, to stick with a strategy, to stick with an activity and a process, to see it all the way through. Okay? And to not be what's the word? To not be easily knocked off again, knocked over, I should say. So discipline is super important. Think about people who want to do bodybuilding, or just get better health in general, or to heal something, to build a business, to build a project, to create an organization. You got to stay disciplined. Okay? You got to stay disciplined. Sometimes there's some activities that you're going to have to do repetitively. And we tend, we have this tendency to boredom, right? Let's just be honest. We tend to get bored. It's our nature to get bored sometimes when we do the same thing over and over again. So there is this desire for something unique and novel every time. It's not necessarily going to serve you if you want to improve or create something. So I found that I had to find the joy in the discipline. And mainly that's the joy in what I call the intermediate results. So if you're working towards big goals, you're going to have intermediate results. And those intermediate results are going to be motivating, right? I'm just moving around a little bit just so I don't have the sun right in my eyes. But let's see if I can get this right. Does that work? So it's a little bit tough because it's coming through the trees. But discipline, one of the ways you can improve your discipline is to look for the small wins in between the big wins. And so, for example, when you do that daily exercise, as I like to do, maybe the small win is that hit of dopamine, that feeling empowered, feeling stronger, even after doing a little bit of exercise, that then motivates you to keep going. Okay, so it's kind of like it's the reward. So discipline, when we're disciplined, there is a reward that we can reap. There's both a short-term and long-term benefit. So you kind of want to seek that out to make it worthwhile, because discipline is not just about suffering. It's not just about, hey, I need to suffer. I need to, just grind, hustle and grind. Those things do have merit to a certain extent, but it's, life is meant to be enjoyable, in my opinion. And when we're in our creative capacity, that's meant to be enjoyable. So if you think about it, why wouldn't it be? Wouldn't that be kind of odd if it wasn't? Would it really even be worth it? I mean, you tell me. I don't think so. But hey, maybe I'm wrong about that. So discipline allows you to keep that sword on the grindstone, keep that activity up, keep it going, keep sustained effort, right, over time, despite the tendency to be drawn away from that, whether it's through boredom or distraction or something else. Okay, so you're going to have to be disciplined. Sometimes it is creating a routine. As I've said, not expecting, life doesn't have to suddenly become boring and just an entire routine. But yeah, you're gonna have some routines, especially if you want to accomplish something. So you're gonna have to be disciplined. Okay? And let's talk finally about the third one, which is thoroughness. This is one of my favorites, thoroughness. This is not very talked about even very much. Like, focus gets, a lot of attention. Discipline gets a heck of a lot of attention. Thoroughness, I think, it's underrated. It's under discussed. It's not really addressed enough, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite attributes. It's one of my favorite values. Because what is thoroughness? It's actually very easy to describe thoroughness. Thoroughness is not skipping steps. Not skipping steps for any reason, whether it's laziness or a sense of urgency. It's not cutting corners. Instead, it's completing the entire process. So if you're learning something, it's, if you start a course, for example, if you enroll in a 13-week course, like we have with equity, you're going to go through the entire course, right? You're going to be thorough. And you're going to pay attention to each module, and you're going to do the homework assignments, and you're going to do them really well. And speaking of homework assignments and notices and equity, when it comes to administrative processes, for example, which everybody's hot to trot, everybody wants an administrative, the best administrative process. Well, their thoroughness is really going to count, right? Because there's an expression in equity, we just strive to make your notices perfect. Well, how do you make them perfect? Nothing is truly ever perfect because we're always striving to perfection, but thoroughness is likely to get you there. Because again, you're not going to skip over steps because, hey, I just need to get it done faster, or some kind of other concern. So thoroughness is actually a huge value, and like I said, it's one of the values that's underrated. It's not talked about as much, and I think it's frankly underappreciated. I don't know. You tell me. Do you think that's true or not? So let's just recap 3 values that you definitely want to focus on. There's that first one. 3 values to pay attention to: focus, discipline, and thoroughness. Whatever you want to achieve can be unlocked much more effectively, and your greatness can be realized with much more certainty when you can properly embody and embrace those 3 character traits. So at the Freedom Studio, I still conduct pretty much all of our meetings, all of our live study sessions for our members, and I can tell you that you can ask them. We bring up these and other topics all the time because it's really all about your state of mind. It's really all about your state of mind. And of course, that goes back to the first principle of natural law, the principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. We basically, everything that exists in reality exists in the mind of the one true creator, or what some people call infinite intelligence, or some people even call it the true substantial reality, that everything is basically the imagination of. So it's really all about your state of mind. And so if you're going to go through life unfocused, undisciplined, not thorough, how do you really expect to achieve anything great? Do you even expect to achieve anything great? Do you desire to achieve greatness? Is that even important to you? Because if it's not, maybe the Freedom Studio and what we do isn't really going to be that valuable for you. But if you do have something, if you do strive to be great, if you do strive to unlock something, to unlock your purpose, to leave a powerful legacy in the world, then you're certainly going to benefit from these values and others. So I hope you got value from that. If you did, go ahead and show some love. Give that like button on this video a nice big juicy hug. And go ahead and fist bump that subscribe button so I can keep showing up in your feed, and so you're not going to be distracted and dissuaded all the time. So I appreciate you very much. Again, my name is David Greenberg. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in network. Take care.